Well, it's Monday, the 20th of February, and we race at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and a nice build-up to what promises to be one of the race meetings of the season, especially when it comes to the three-year-old features leading up to the Cape Derby. And we're joined by Graham Hawkins on the line, as is the norm these days for our preview show from Cape Town. And Graham, with all these abandoned meetings, we had Quebeca on Friday as well, that was lost halfway through that race meeting. Punters are starved of action, and thankfully we've got a nice card on Monday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth.
Well, the one thing you can be sure of, that it's highly unlikely that any race meetings in Cape Town at this time of the year will be abandoned due to weather. So we can rely on the Western Cape to keep us going in the meantime while rain falls all over the country in other parts.
Race number one will start off the bar pot. It will kick off at 12:30. It's over 1,000 meters. It's a maiden juvenile plate for fillies. Graham, a lot of unknowns in the race. I'm just going to read out the comments quickly that the form guide that I'm using, which is the computer form, and maybe this can be used as a guide for the guys out there. And number one, could place. Number two, including exotics. That's the Canamere horse. Number five, shows ability but expected to be green. Number six, that's the Glen Cotson runner. Ready to run purchase and shows speed. And then the other runner from the Glen Cotson stable, quick but may need it. 11, nice filly, will need the experience. 12, speedy type, could be in the shake-up. And in 13, which is Candice Bass-Robinson's runner, shows good speed, may need the experience. And then I already like the comment from Justin Snate's runner here. Nice type, should be in the money, and one to follow. A lot of unknowns with some very well-bred individuals, Graham.
Very well-bred individuals, and the early market is certainly no help for us. They're betting 9-2 the field for the opener, this maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 meters. First leg of the bipod at 12:30. So one can only hope that between now and race time, there'll be one or two that shorten, that attract the money, which will give us a better guide. So you've gone through the comments from the conditioners. 14 double Grand Slam, probably getting the most positive comment for Richard Fourie and Justin Snaith. That's one of the co-favorites at 9-2 with number 13, Unconquerable Lady. Most of this field are unraced, 9 of the 15. The only one that's shown any glimmer of form before is number 15, Glawari. That ran third on debut, beaten nearly 5 lengths by Golden Sickle. The others that have run, the form doesn't inspire very much confidence. So it's going to be a tough start to the bipot. I think you can follow the jockeys. Obviously, Elder de Meyer is riding number 8, Red Palace. Ashton Aries flown all the way down to Cape Town to ride for Glen Cotson, number 10, Golden Corn. Grant Van Niekerk rides number 12, Highly Confidential for Justin Snaith. Keegan DeMello rides for the Kaya Stables, number 13, Unconquerable Lady. Richard Fourie, as mentioned, rides number 14, Double Grand Slam. And it's reasonable to assume that the better jockeys riding the better first-timers. So in trying to narrow it down, those are where you should focus on. And then possibly also Ricky Maingard's runner, number 1, Gimme Shelter, a 2-year-old daughter of Gimme the Green Light. That could be anything on debut. But it's a tough start to the bipot. Delay putting on your permits as long as possible. Watch the betting. I'm sure that between now, where they're betting 9-2 the field, and race time, we'll see 1 or 2 shortens.
I like that comment. Delay as long as possible. And the guys on course, they always do a sterling job trying to give us as much information as possible. And I'm sure they'll do just that come Monday and get the comments for those first timers. Bipot looks a tricky start. Race number 1. The place accumulator will begin at 13:05. It's over 1,000 meters. It's a maiden special weights. The 2 first timers here are numbers 3 and 8. And as we did in the first race, number 3, Candice Bass-Robinson's runner, will need further and may need the experience. And then horse number 8, Lucinda Woodruff's runner, expecting to be green. So no confidence with these first timers. Graham, they got a horse here at 11-10, and then the next best in the betting market, of course, this betting proudly brought to you by Hollywoodbets. That's where we get the action from when it comes to the fixed odds betting market. The next best is a 6-1 shot, number 5, 7 at 7-1, 8 at 8-1, 11-10. Is that a true reflection of the lack of opposition?
I think it is. It is generally a very weak race, this maiden special weights over 1,000 meters. Now, number 9, Enemy Territory, who's at 11-10, and you mentioned number 5, Ponte Vecchio at 6-1. Ponte Vecchio is very well tried. They both ran behind Kennedy. In fact, Ponte Vecchio ran third, and Enemy Territory ran fourth. There was not much to choose between them, but that was Enemy Territory's first run. Enemy Territory is now 2.5 kilograms better off in this maiden special weights, and with the benefit of that experience, should comfortably turn the tables of number 5, Ponte Vecchio. And no matter how wide you have to go in the opening leg of the bipod, that rather mysterious maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 meters, I think you can confidently banker number 9, Enemy Territory, in race 2.
Yeah, I agree with Graham. She looks like a banker and everything. Maybe you can start your multiples here. She is Northern Hemisphere bred, and while she's still 6 months behind, she should be too good for this field with natural improvement from one run to the next. One of the better bets on the card comes up in race number 2. We're on to the pick 6, the big one at 1340. It's over 2,000 meters, and this is a classified stakes. And I'll give you the betting, Graham, just the horses in single figures. Number 1 at 9-2, 2 at 6-1, 4 6-1 shot, 5 6-1, 7 at 4-1, and then 8 Machete Man, that's at 11-2. So the market suggests that you're going to have to play it wide here if you're using the betting as the guide. Very tough to try and narrow your selections down, Graham.
Short and sweet. There's no doubt that the first leg of the pick 6 off at 1340. It's a classified stakes over 2,000 meters, as you mentioned. This is a field race. I can't be of too much help for you. There are only 9 in the race, and they are betting 4-1 the field. Coronation Time is unbeaten over track and trip. He is the early week favorite. Grant van Niekerk returns from suspension to ride him, so obviously he stands a favorite's chance. But I don't trust this race. I think there are many with chances. The form is not that strong. Virginia Sweet might relish going over 2,000 meters, was a fast finishing 5th behind Perilla over 1,400 meters. She's closely related to Do It Again, is the daughter of William Longsword. So watch for improvement over this 2,000 meters. She should relish the extra. But Mr. Monocle from Justin Snaith and Machete Man from Justin Snaith, they have obvious claims. And even Twice the Master, I was quite strong on Twice the Master last time out when Coronation Time won. He ran disappointingly, but could improve on that. Rocky Reef, they've all got chances, D's. For me, I'm going field in the opening leg of the pick 6.
Pass in the pick 6, but for the place accumulator, I'm not going to let you off that easy. Give me 3 horses for the PA.
All right, well, if I had to go with 3 horses, then I would go with Virginia Sweet, number 5. I'll give you 4 horses. I can't give you 3. I'll put in both of Justin Snaith's, number 4, Mr. Monocle, and number 8, Machete Man, and number 7, Coronation Time. So 4, 5, 7, and 8 for the place accumulator, and probably the bipod as well.
Thankfully, you've added my 8 there, Graham, because that is going to be my roving banker in this quartet. Number 8, Machete Man. Go wide in the pick 6. Race number 4 starts off the jackpot. This is a maiden plate over 1,800 meters. Get your bets on by 14:15. We are racing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, where it looks to be a card that you want to catch the exotics, especially this jackpot, because the jackpot 1 and jackpot 2, they could be a bank up, we'll touch on a bit later. Let me give you the betting here, Graham. Number 1, Elegant Noble, is at 22-10. Mohandas at 9-1. 3 at 5-1. Then we move to number 7, Marshall Field at 4-1. 8, Autumn Moon is an 8-1 shot. And then 28-10, number 9, Madison Blues. Just looking at the way the betting board is going to be presented, 1, Elegant Noble, and 8, Madison Blues look to be the principals, Graham.
They certainly are amongst the principals. I've narrowed it down to 3 leading runners. Numbers 1, Elegant Noble, you've mentioned. 9, Madison Blues. I thought this anniversary Gerricks was a touch disappointing behind Selukwe last time when running 3rd in that race. Autumn Moon was 2nd, but the weights this time do favor. That was a special weights maiden race. And now the weights do favor Madison Blues. So numbers 1 and 9. But I also am going to throw in there the unknown quantity. And that will be number 7, Marshall Field. Significant jockey booking. Richard Faree for Listen to Woodruff. has only had the 3 starts. The furthest it's been 1,400 meters. By ideal world, out of a Fort Wood mare, the further Marshall Field goes, the better he should be. So I'm expecting a lot of improvement over this 1,800 meters. So for me, the 3 principal runners are 1 Elegant Noble, 7 Marshall Field, and 9 Madison Blues. And I think you should be safe going with those 3.
Yeah, I think Graham is right there with those 3 runners for the jackpot. I think this race you could possibly try and narrow it down. Race number 4, and the value could be the 4-1 shot there, Marshall Field, Paulus and the Woodruff. We're on to race number 5 now. This is over 1,800 meters, a quality race. It's a B division class, merit-rated 90 handicap, horses that are in single figures, and there are many of them. In Amore, number 1 at 4-1, 2 at 7-1, 3 is a 7-1 shot, 4 at 5-1, 6 is a 9-1 shot, and then at the bottom of the numbers, 10 Beyond the Boundary is 7-1, and 11 Lion's Head is at 7-1. Very tough to try and work this out, Graham, because you got horses at the top of the weights to a horse like a Montine at the bottom of the weights carrying 52.5 kgs. And then you get horses that have been campaigning in some very strong fields, like in Amore, coming from that Grade 3 Politician Stakes for 3-year-olds, where was soundly beaten by the stable companion Rock Pool, who is the second choice in the Cape Derby over next weekend, and drawn 1 with Richard Faria. I don't know if you can try and, maybe go less than 5 runners in the pick 6, but the place accumulator, the horse that will keep many interested, is horse number 1.
Absolutely. Drops in class, as you mentioned. He won his 2 starts coming into the Politician Stakes. He was soundly beaten there. Interestingly, he was nominated for the Cape Derby, and is the only horse that Justin Snaith from his team scratched from the Derby to run him here, because, rather win a race on Monday the 20th over 1,800 meters that you can win than just make up even more numbers for the Snaith team in the Cape Derby. So clearly, Inamarari is in a good space. He's competitive in this class, and he should give a very clear account of himself. He's carrying 56.5. Justin Snaith has a very strong hand. He also saddles numbers 6, Night Ruler, and also saddles number 8, I Want It All. So he's got a few runners in the race, but clearly the stable preference will be for number 1 in a Morari, which will be the one to beat. Brett Crawford's number 7, number 3, the Futurist, can't be ignored. Very good, consistent form. He's run behind Snaith horses in his last 4 starts, and I'm sure Brett will be trying very hard to get 1 over Snaith in this race. 7-1 seems quite good, reasonable each way value about number 3, the Futurist. But the key horse in the race is clearly number 4, Montine. How much scope does he have for improvement, this 3-year-old? He's carrying 52.5, very good post-maiden run. He comes with a bit of a high reputation, and the 1,800 meters will be right up his alley. The further he goes, the better it'll be. His trainer, Pit Wood, has made that clear every time they talk to him. So it is a trappy little race, but if you want to narrow it down, number 1, Inamarare, and number 4, Montine, and number 3, Futurist, those would be my top 3. But then there was a lot of talk about 10 Beyond the Boundary last time when it ran 3rd. And even Dean Canamer's run a number 11, Lion's Head, can't be safely ignored. So it's quite competitive, but I think you are probably correct that Inamarari sets the standard.
When you have a look at the way they declared for their Derby, I think Graham brings up a very good point, because Justin's got 6 runners in the Derby. The 2 horses he scratched was, I think it's raining William and this horse Inamarare, and the only other scratching in that Derby was King Regent from the Glen Cotson stable. So there were 3 scratchings from the initial horses that were nominated, but Justin still got 6 runners there, and I think this could be the move that Graham has found, just reading it between the lines with number 1 Inamarare, race number 5, priced up at 4-1. And personally, I think, now that I've analyzed the opposition, that could be generous price about a horse that, as Graham mentioned, had back-to-back wins before thrown into a Group 3 against some of the better 3-year-olds around. Race number 6 is over 1,600 meters. It's a middle stakes for fillies and mares. Now, this race, Graham, It looks to be a race that Brett Crawford holds the aces, the two aces, but is there going to be a river card to come and spoil it? 7 Time Flies is 22-10. The stable Companion is at 5-1. There are other horses in single figures. Number 2 is at 7-1, 3 and 8-1, 5 at 4-1, and 6 at 6-1. This filly, Time Flies, is she the clear pick from the Crawford stable? I'll tell you what, don't read anything into Louis Mkotla because Louis cannot ride 52 kgs. So that was not a choice that he had. But is he on the right horse and the right horse on top of the boards?
A leap of faith, Dees. I hesitantly say yes. I've made my play for the day in terms of Jackpot 2 certainly is number 7, Time Flies, as a banker. But that being said, I respect the fact that Nita is getting 8 kilograms from Time Flies. Brett Crawford, as you mentioned, does hold all the aces. He also saddles number 3, Fleeting, who wasn't disgraced last time out when just 3 lengths behind Time Flies. So he does appear to have the aces. Betty Boop bounced back to form last time over 1,400 meters, goes up to 1,600 meters in good form, and is very well bred, is Betty Boop. And once again, it's Richard Free and Justin Snaith. You can't safely ignore their runners at any stage. But I'm going to go quite strongly with number 7, Time Flies. I make the principal threat number 8, Nita. If this was the old days, as I've said sometimes before, if the couplings, you could banker the couplings, I would be very happy to banker the Brett Crawford couplings in the pick 6. But you've got to go narrow somewhere. There's some tough races on this card, and unless you're prepared to take very small percentages, you've got to nail your colours to the mast somewhere. I'm going to nail my colours to the mast here, number 7, Time Flies. But if you do want to go wider, I think number 8, Nita, does stand out as being the second choice at the weights.
Has hit it on the head there because she looks to be the best weighted if you have a look at that column, Mita. But I agree with you, Graham. The 7 horse Time Flies last time out, the way she was racing over that 2,000 meter trip, she was running on smartly. She actually hasn't won a 1,600 yet. She's won twice over 1,800 meters and a 1,400, so no issue. This could actually turn out to be the trip that she enjoys best. Number 7, Time Flies. On to race number 7, classified stakes over 1,600 meters. Graham has found the banker in his perm in the free race. Let's see what he's going to do in race number 7. Number 2, 7-2, 4 at 5-2, 5. Rosh Kadesh is a 14-10 shot, 7 at 8-1, and then it is 10-1 and better the balance. Well, this tells me what the fixed odds betting market think of this individual. They seem to be impressed with the way he won his maiden. Number 5, Rosh Kadesh, 14-10, Graham.
I think that's a little sharp in the market for me, Dees. 14-10, he's had the 2 starts. This is his first run out of the maidens. And yes, he's very nicely bred. He's by versing Gedderix. He's obviously going to be progressive, but he's carrying 59 kilograms in this classified stakes. I have healthy respect for him. Keegan DeMello riding for Dean Caname. He could have any amount of promise, any amount of improvement to come. But I think 14-10 in this kind of a race is too skinny. For Future Turn is the second choice in the market, as good, consistent post-maiden form, and he'll run a big race. He does give away 2 kilograms to Rosh Kadesh, but he's more experienced. I'm a little concerned that Rosh Kadesh may be lacking racing experience, but based on what Dean Caname has said after he won his maiden, again, the further he goes, the better he'll be, and he does step up in trip to 1,600 meters. So no, I wouldn't be surprised to see Rosh Kadesh winning. I expect Future Turn to make his presence felt, but at the same time, I would be looking to overturn him, I must be honest. I think that he could be vulnerable in only his 3rd start, but I may be way off the mark. 2 Bardolino ran well last time out, could run well again. There are a couple with form around. It's not a deep race, but I'm going to be looking to get a bit of a result here. Although, obviously, I would not be surprised if Rosh Kadesh won.
Worth noting, if you have a look at the field, that the only older horse is horse number 3, Paper Trail, a 5-year-old. The rest are all 3-year-olds. And we got a 3-year-old filly in the race, which is number 6, Jam. So the unexposed horse, taking on the other 3-year holds here, number 5, Rosh Kadesh. He could achieve much higher than his rating of a 79, which is suggested by the handicapper after winning last time out. But 14 to 10, I must agree. You're going to have to be the judge for myself and Graham, or for Graham and myself. 14 to 10, too short. I think a horse that will drift out.
Dees, it's quite interesting.
Yes.
If I may just add, it's not often you see this comment in computer form, and I'm not quite sure what they were meaning by it, but they said when he won last time, their comment is workmanlike.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with the comment. It's not one they use often.
Yes.
He was not impressive. He got the job done, but he didn't blow me away with that maiden win. So I'd like to see more from Rosh Kadesh.
Yeah, he just seemed to have things his own way from the draw, raced up handy, dictate. I can still remember that race, Grammy. He just seemed to have things his own way. There were no serious challenges over the final 200 meters, and he did what he was asked to do. So, 450,000 Rand purchase, beautifully bred horse, 79. I think in time to come, Graham, I think fair to say in time to come, we were not in this race. This race will tell us more, but in time to come, 79 looks generous at this stage, only having 2 runs.
Yeah, it probably does, but I think we'll have to wait and see how he goes. But he is the right horse to be at the top of the board. I just think 14 to 10 is a little on the sharp side.
Okay, on to the lucky last, race number 8 over 1,200 meters. And let's give you the betting here. Horses in single figures, that is from Hollywoodbets. Number 3, Noble City, 28 to 10. If Rosh Kadesh has to come through and win the previous race, that 28 to 10 will shorten dramatically. On to number 4, 7 to 1, 5 at 2 to 1, 7 a 7 to 1 shot. They're making it look like it's a 2-horse race here, Graham. The debut winner, number 3, Noble City, with Rosh Kadesh coming through from the form line. And I think it was a horse that I battled to try and pronunciate Kebon Nelisedi or something, Graham. The horse's name is, that ran second, also coming through to win. And then number 7, Swift Action at 7 to 1. Is it Velskun versus Noble City?
Well, Noble City is a half-brother to Battle Force. He was so impressive. He really was impressive when winning his maiden. You're right, Rosh Kadesh was way, way behind him. That came out to win. Kevin Lasedi came out to win, so the form has been franked on 2 fronts.
Just say that again for me, Graham. Just say that again for me, Graham. I need to get that pronunciation. Kebon
Lasedi.
Oh, Kebon Lasedi. Okay, I got it now.
Okay, so Richard Farees jumped off Fort Red to retain the ride on Noble City. So Velskun, though, is the early favourite. I think that Velskun could well have the beating of Swift Action this time. There was not much to choose between those two when they raced behind USA's Hope, but I'm going to suggest that Velskun will finish in front of Swift Action, although Swift Action does warrant respect. And so I make it a 2-horse race between numbers 3, Noble City, and 5, Velskun. The one that I would have a little bit of respect for, and certainly back of trifectas and quartets, would be Ricky Maingard's runner, number 8, Winter Pearl, that I think will continue to improve. But as far as the exotics are concerned, 3, Noble City, it was ultra impressive, and 5, Velskun, who you can't fault his form, is a very well-bred son of Schnitzel. After running second on his debut, he was off the track for more than a year. He clear's got lots of ability, and he seems to be over whatever problem kept him off the racetrack. He seems to be over that, and he should continue to improve. So 3, Noble City, 5, Velskun. I think the betting has got it right.
We're hoping for a form result to close things off here in race number 8. And then we'll go to Graham's suggested bet. And Graham, you've given a jackpot, which is jackpot 2. And just go through your numbers, please.
Okay, short and simple, because it's jackpot 2, which starts in race 5. I'm going the field in the first leg. That's all 11 runners. Yes, we do like Inamarari strongly, and the Futurist and Montine. So in the pick 6, you can narrow this down. But jackpot 2, I'm going the field. Then I'm bankering number 7, Time Flies. Then again, the field to try and get a result to overturn Rosh Kadesh. And the last leg, just numbers 3, Noble City, and 5, Velskun. This is a jackpot that could pay quite nicely if we do get the results in the field races, but it also pay nothing if all the favourites come through, as we strongly suspect they might do. I'm going to take a covered jackpot where I'm going to banker in a Marari in the first leg and take the field to cover off on Time Flies. But my principal jackpot is the one that I've just shared with you.
Thanks, Graham. I always value your input. And on behalf of Graham Hawkins, the Gallop TV team, myself, Dee Steiner, have a blast. Make a huge profit. Find all the winners on the Monday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. And until we meet again, you take care. Salani Kahle.